Darien, thank you so much for coming on the AIM podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
It's gonna be a fun conversation, man. I'm honestly a huge fan of your content, and I'm not gonna lie. There's a few things that you've done that I've tried to do and haven't done it as successfully as you have. So, all the listeners, man, if you're gonna go check out this guy's content, be careful because some of the stuff you do is pretty wild.
Mhm. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be a good episode. Hopefully you'll get to dry off a little bit. I know you guys are getting slammed with rain over there in LA, and that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't seen anything like it. But I think that just means it's gonna be a very warm summer.
There you go.
So,
Do you prefer the heat or the or cold weather?
I'm somewhere in between. I'd rather deal with the cold than like extreme hot though. I can't do like 90. Nah, I just hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, like I said, dude, your content is super cool. What you've been able to create and the platform you've built is awesome. But before you dive into some of those questions, I really would love to hear more about your journey getting into fitness and hear more about what your background entails, because I'm sure I would guess, I don't want to assume anything. I would guess it has some sort of, athletic element to it. The things that you do just are very incredibly challenging. So I would love to hear more about what your background looks like and how you got into the fitness industry.
Yeah, man. So I'm a former athlete. I grew up playing everything. But I was mainly a football guy. Uh, I played football, played collegiate football, Division 1. I played New Mexico State. After that, I had a couple different tryouts for the NFL. Got invited to a mini camp. Um, then CFL did the same deal, tryouts, Winnipeg and Calgary. Then I played in arena, and then I played overseas for 2 years. And working out was just always a part of my routine and something that was important to me. So towards the end of my career, especially when I was in like France, playing overseas, I worked out a lot, and then yeah, it kind of just fell into it. Like I had a job for like 6 months, or maybe a little more than 6 months, and then I went into business as a personal trainer. Started personal training, and then from there everything kind of just took off.
So cool. What was it like? I'm actually super curious. What was it like playing football professionally you said France, right?
hmm
What was that like? Because obviously in America, like we love football. It's a big sport here culturally. But like in a country like that, like how was that environment?
it's different. It's a different experience, man. I personally didn't even know they played over there
I didn't either.
for the longest time. And but I guess yeah, they have it all over Europe. It's really popular in Germany, but it was a different experience. I think it was one that I needed for personal growth purposes. But yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm curious because I've my background is athletic as well. I played Division 1 college basketball, and during COVID, is kind of I had part of my portion of my career was during that time period, so it was very challenging with athletics, and that's kind of when I shifted personally into the health and fitness space and started to kind of work out more when we were shut down and couldn't be in the gym and whatnot. For you though, transitioning from the football training and the athletic training to what you do now, and I guess you still incorporate a lot of those movements. Where was that point for you where you really started to kind of get more focused in on like fitness though? Like where did that kind of how did that kind of look for you?
Oh man, you know
Was
what
it
I had
something you were doing like while you were still playing? Like was fitness and like training in that element
to?
outside the skill work of football? Was that something you were always kind of
Yeah,
interested
yeah, yeah, yeah. Going into college, I was 5'8" and a half, 164 pounds, and I just remember we had an injury, a big injury, g- when I was a freshman. I was a freshman playing, with 21-year-olds, and coach told me like, "Hey, you're gonna have to start this year." Um, and I was like, "Okay," and he was like, "Yeah, but you got to gain weight. Like, you got to get in the weight room."
Wow.
So, on top of like the extra the workouts that we would do with the football team, I would do extra. So I'll go to the student activity center when I lived on campus, and I would work out by myself at the end of almost every day, like maybe like 4 times a week. Um, and I would take protein shakes, and I had to really focus on that area in order to play and be effective on the field. So that's when it kind of started to happen.
That's so cool. I love that. So an opportunity kind of came about, and you're like, in order for me to capitalize and make the most of this opportunity, this chance, I've got to take care of this, in the weight
Yeah.
room and really take that fitness more seriously.
Yeah.
That's so cool. As you made that transition out of playing professionally, and you said you took a job and then kind of got into personal training, is that something that, you had thought about doing for a while, or was that just kind of a natural progression or transition for you, knowing that, I do enjoy fitness, I knew it, I like kind of this lifestyle. How was that kind of process for you?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of something I thought about doing. I guess I was already doing it on the side. I had a couple buddies, man, and they wanted to work out with me, so they paid me to train them and work out with me. And there was a gym opening in the area that I lived in, and it wasn't like commercial. It was more private. It was a private gym, so you run your own business. And I found out about it. I got in contact with the owner, and that's it. Like the rest is history. I worked my job until because the gym wasn't open yet, but it was opening, and then maybe the 2 weeks before it opened, I stopped working my job. I quit, and then jumped in.
It's awesome. No, I love that. I think it's super cool, when athletes are able to transition and do different things, but also kind of still use some of the things that you've built your life on, such as, hard work, being competitive, pushing yourself. Like those things I think apply to a lot of other things. And it's cool to see how you're able to use those and continue to help other people through different platforms.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
man.
did social media come into the play for you? Because obviously a lot of people have seen your videos, they go viral. You do awesome collab content with some incredible people as well. Where did that, process start for you, and like how did that look?
Oh man, so during COVID, really, I wasn't really posting much content. I would post content here and there. But during COVID, the gym shut down, so I really had nothing else to do. I was training one of my entertainers at the time, actor. He had to stay in shape, for his job, and we were really close at the time. We are boys, so uh, we still are boys. But yeah, I would work out with him at his house, and he would record like so. I had dumbbells, and we'd do like bodyweight workouts, dumbbell workouts, and for my sets, he would record me, and then I would just post them up. Like at the end of every workout, I would post them online, and then eventually, like I would do this every day, and because I had nothing else to do, and they would just start hitting the explore, and then before you know it, I got like 50K followers, and then I ended up on ESPN. And then everything else just kind of just crazy, just started happening.
As you started to grow on social and your video started to gain traction, did like former teammates or people that you grew up with start to hit you up and be like, dude, what's going on? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people, people I haven't heard from in a while will reach out, or people that I just lost contact with and never had their Instagram, they'd reach out, follow me, and then DM me. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, super interesting. With the types of workouts you were doing and the content you were putting out, I'm curious. I'm sure there's an element to like being creative and entertaining, which is something I want to talk to you about, but also like doing these workouts. Like, are these things that you just like to enjoy to come up with, like the creative element of like, obviously, if you want to hit your core, you can go into the gym, you can do planks, you can do sit-ups, you can do leg raises, whatever, but you always add in like an extra creative element. Was that something that you just enjoyed doing for the fun of it, or did you kind of understand like there's an entertainment factor to this that you could actually like really like impact people through that content? Like how did you kind of come up with
Both,
those?
man, both something I really enjoy doing because we all get bored doing the same old things in the gym, and um, always been able to be creative with, especially with ab exercises. Um, just I was always able to like find a new way to target it, and yeah, it's entertaining and it's fun. So I enjoy doing it. So it's like all of it in one, really.
Do you get inspiration from, I'm sure, I mean, a lot of people on social media will see different trends, see different people and get inspiration, but are there any particular people that you really like, man, this person really kind of just gave me a ton of just really valuable exposure to the things that they were doing. It kind of helped me grow as a creator.
Um, Not, I mean, I've always had like my own wave, like
Yeah.
my stuff is always kind of different than the average fitness creator. So like I don't know. I kind of just stuck to what I know, to what I know and what I've been doing. I know I do follow amazing creators, George, Banfo, Bully Juice. Like those are some of my favorites. And I'm cool with them too. Me and George are good boys, good friends. So yeah.
That's cool. When you guys get together, I'm just curious how this runs down. I'm trying to picture in my head. And you guys, all right, let's do a dope workout. Are you coming up with it, or they? Do you guys collaborate and like, yo, let's try this and that? Like, how do those kind of interactions happen?
Yeah, we usually do it together. We'll take pieces of our content maybe that have worked in the past and maybe find a way to tweak it and put it together. Um, but yeah, it's fun. We have fun. There's no egos involved, and we're just able to get in there and create and just have fun doing it. Get a good workout as well.
That's so cool. Now, are you just kind of creating content, working on your business and your brand, or do you still working with clients as well, or how do you kind of balance that where you are now?
Yeah, man. So I haven't trained anyone in like 2 years. Like I train like my entertainers that I've trained when they reach out for a session. Sometime I'll, find time to squeeze them in and give them a session here and there. But like I stopped training maybe like 2 years ago. So I'm just doing content for my brand now and working through endorsements and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you've built such an incredible brand, and it's so cool to see. It's like I'll see a video that you'll post, and I'm like, man, that's so creative, that's so new, and then you'll top it, and then you'll put something else. And I'm like, dude, this guy just continues to elevate. How do you approach it from a mindset standpoint? Because this is something that we really touch on a lot with this podcast is just the mindset of a lot of these successful people just continuing to pursue like like just elevating constantly and constantly pushing yourself to like improve and not getting stagnant. How do you approach it from a mindset standpoint?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's always been like my mindset from in life, from being an athlete and just always having a chip on my shoulder. I like to be the best. I like to be really good at what I do. And I don't like the idea of complacency, I don't like to get comfortable. I'm just always striving for more. So I mean, I wake up with that mindset every single day. And as long as I'm challenging myself and trying to be the best version of myself every day, then I could be happy with myself. I could go to sleep well at night.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. Do you think a lot of that comes from your background in sports? Like, do you think that had an influence on kind of where your mind is at now?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Ever since I was a kid, man. So like it's muscle memory now. Like everything, it just flows. It's how I live my life. But um, for sure, like sports is what molded me and my mindset for sure.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, we've had some really cool athletes on the show, and it's like just picking their brain, understanding, how the things they go through and how the things, how they're raised and how they, get to the where they are in their sport, and then they make that transition. It's like you can apply so much of that, into whatever you do. It doesn't matter if you're going to teaching, if you go into coaching, if you go into content creating. It really doesn't matter. You can apply
Yeah,
it to everything.
absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
with your nickname, the ab guy, like how did that come about? What's the story there? I'm super curious.
Man, so I've always had like really defined abs, I guess. So when I was a personal trainer, um, we're at the gym one day and I had really low body fat. There were a lot of guys that competed and did bodybuilding and all that stuff, and they'd be like in their cut and like almost about to step on stage, and like my body fat is like lower, if not, what I'm saying? It's crazy. And so we're getting ready for a Fit Expo, and I remember like we were talking, everyone was like trying to get in shape, and me and the owner of the gym were talking, and he was like, yeah, man, they're gonna see you with your shirt off. We gotta be take some pictures. They're gonna be like, oh, that's the ab guy. I was like, yeah, yeah. They're gonna say, oh, there's the ab guy, that's the ab guy. And then he was like, yo, that's I like that. He was like, you should put that as your IG name. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, just put it as like quotations. Like, and I was like, okay. So I put it in there and it stuck. And I've never changed it, I've never taken it out. But at first it was just like a joke, kind of. Not really a joke, but like I didn't think it would stick
Stick, right?
the way it did, and it did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's that's awesome. It's cool to see how people build like off their like obviously everyone has different strengths and talents and whatnot that they're blessed with and that they acquire through hard work, but to see you be able to like really market them and be creative and bring those into your personal brand. And it's cool like how you've again just built and elevated over time and really kind of leaned into you've leaned into that. And it's smart. I would have done, I'd do the same thing if I were you. And now you do have that association with ab exercises and crazy ab core challenges. Like you're the guy for that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's pretty awesome. It's surreal even thinking about it. Like when I think back, like telling you the story, it's kind of like, dang, like that's really how it happened. So it's
Do you
interesting.
ever, I'm curious too, like, do you ever sit like kind of what you just explained, but like in a deeper way? Like, do you ever just sit there and like, dude, what happened? Like, how did I get to this point? Like, I was a football player and now I've got this set up and now I'm, building this brand and I'm helping and I'm working with these awesome companies. Like, do you ever just sit back and you're like, dang, this is wild?
Yeah, yeah. Man, I'm so grateful for it. I mean, it's truly a dream. It's my dream job, but pretty often, bro, pretty often I'm just like, man, like it's pretty crazy. Like when I look back on 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and when I started in fitness to where I am now, it's amazing. So yeah, my IG memories, my archives they remind me sometimes when they show me something from 2 years ago. I'm like, oh wow. So
Keeps you motivated.
yeah, for sure.
I love it. I want to dive into talking about like actual training. It's so cool to see all the different workouts you're putting out, the challenges and stuff, but like really getting into like the nuts and bolts of actual like physical training. How do you personally like to train?
Man, I'd like to do so. I got a regular workout split just like everyone else. I'm just a big superset guy. I like the superset. I like to get in and work out for an hour, hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes tops. I don't like to spend 2 hours in the gym. I
Yep.
like to superset everything. I like it to be high pace. Um, and yeah, so I do got my chest day, I got back, I got shoulders, I got legs, then I got chest and I got back. Um, some my full body days, I do legs a lot when I shoot content. I got to use my legs a lot. So when I do like full body and all that, that's like a hit exercise. I'll do that on a Sunday, but Sundays are typically my rest day.
That's super cool. Now with the rep ranges and the intensity, like are you putting in a lot of volume with high intensity? Are you doing more like heavy weight? Do you mix it up? How do you kind of go about that portion?
Yeah, so not too heavy. I no longer max anymore. I don't think I need to. After I stopped playing sports, I don't max. Bench. I'll do like sets of 12, drop sets of 15. It just depends on the week and it depends on the day, really.
Yep.
Um, Same thing with, legs and back. Legs, I'll never do more than like 3 plates on back squat, just to keep my lower back intact. But yeah, man, it just depends on the day and the
And then
week.
obviously there's the abs, the core component as well.
Abs every day, abs every single day, every workout. Sometimes I'll superset it. So like if I'm doing chest, and I'm doing accessory work, I'll superset abs with whatever I'm doing at the time. So it could be like flies, cable flies, or whatever. Right after I do, a set of 15, set of 20, I'll get down and do Russian twist, 25 each side, weighted Russian twist. And then that'll be one set, and I'll do that 5 times, and then I'll switch.
I like that a lot. I want
Yeah.
to, I want to try to incorporate more of that into my training because I think it is cool. Like I've always been a fan of supersets, but incorporating core with the superset, I think is super fascinating because you just
Yeah.
just stay engaged the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's super cool. You are, I think, one of the best, if not the best person to speak on this, but I'd love for you to educate the audience and talk a little bit more intentionally about the importance of training your core. I think it's something a lot of people talk about, especially like doctors will say as you get older, you should be doing core exercises for balance and whatnot. But like if you're just a regular person and you just wanting to be a healthy person, why
Yeah.
is core training and ab training really important just for humans?
First of all, like from my experience, you'll get hurt trying to work out if you don't have a strong core. Like a lot of these exercises that people do, it requires your core to be activated, Um, and yeah, man, it's important, man. It's important for everyday life, balance, like you said,
Yep.
doing workouts properly, just how your whole body functions. I think, having a strong core can only benefit you. Um, so yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think it's huge. And like, again, especially as you age and things don't feel the same. It's like if you can keep your core strong and intact, I feel like that's one of the
Yeah,
best things that you can do.
absolutely. Absolutely, man.
If someone's just starting out and they're like, okay, I watched your video and I'm super inspired and it was so cool to see you do an ab wheel on a treadmill and like that looks so sick, but like I need a different place to start. I need a better starting spot that's like more acclimated for where I'm at as a person. Like, how do you recommend people just starting to get going? Like, do you have any tips or tricks, or maybe not tricks, maybe that's not the right word, but just different ways for people to start kind of building their platform or their foundation?
Platform or foundation as in like their body
Yeah, just trying to like,
working out.
yeah, just like working out like, different ways for them to start. Maybe like how many times a week for should a beginner like start
Yeah,
training core, and maybe some of the exercises they should
yeah.
start as beginners.
Um, uh, Anywhere from 3 times a week. I think if the average person is working out maybe 4 times a week, you can start off with two times a week, and eventually your core will become stronger, and then tack on more days. But Russian twist, planks, toe touches, regular crunches, bicycle crunches. Those are all workouts that don't require equipment, and you could do, anywhere. You could do them at home. You could do them in the gym, in between workouts, after your workout, whatever it is. Um, so yeah, there's plenty of ways. You just gotta, it's about the want to.
Yeah, that's good. More the desire and the mindset to just pursue.
Yeah.
That's awesome. With your content, I'm curious how you structure this. I love picking your brain just because I love what you're doing. Do you set it up where you're going to be strategically filming, creating content like during or post workout, or do you have certain days where you're like, look, I'm just going to shoot the content, knock it out for the week, and like I don't like to mix the two when I'm training. I like to
Yeah.
just train, or how do you kind of go about that process?
Um, so I like to shoot content. I shoot content after my workout. I never work out. I never shoot content and then work out. I always do my content after I work out, just because I need my workout to be on point, and I
Yep.
don't need to be tired. I don't need my workout to be sluggish. So content comes after the workout, and like now I'm not as strategic with like shooting. I just kind of let it come to me because this is what I do for a living now. So like I don't really feel like it's necessary to try to bang out all my week's content in one day, and then just have nothing to do for the rest of the week. I like to keep my ideas fresh, and I like to just let it come to me. So I'll just try to shoot maybe four days out the week or 3 days out the week. And if I'm doing a collab, then that'll be different because we'll knock out more videos while we have time together. But yeah.
That's super interesting. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. With the collab, you touched on the collab stuff. You've worked with some really cool people, made some really cool, made a lot of really cool content with awesome people. When did you start kind of incorporating that, when you were like, dude, like I'm crushing my personal brand and building, but now I'm ready to kind of bring people together and challenge my friends, or, get in touch with the right people to do really cool workouts. Like, how did you kind of start doing that?
Man, it just kind of just happened. Yeah, I don't even remember. Oh, I just started collabing. I just started collabing with friends when I would travel, people that I've connected with on social media, but never met in person. Whenever I'm in their city, like I'll go to Miami for associates event, and I got my boy Jason's there, and we just link up and we shoot videos together. We're all doing the same thing, so and it's just fun. It's fun, and then it's a way to, you know, um, expose each other to each other's audiences and grow together. So I just think it's cool, man.
Totally. Are there any cool stories or experiences you've had trying to like collab with someone and just like you guys are trying to nail like a sick workout and just like maybe it worked out really well, or there were some challenges? Like, any cool stories you have about experiences like that?
Man, I don't have any stories. I know I was doing a muscle up challenge with George though, and we actually put it in the video. Um, and I had to let go of the bar because he was throwing the ball, and I was muscling up and then letting go and tapping the ball back to him, and I ended up falling. I ended up falling because I didn't get the bar in time, which is pretty cool. And it was funny, so we added it to the video in the beginning, and then we cut it, and then we put the video of us getting it right in there. So I mean, that video did really well for us, and yeah, I don't really know. Like, there's some bloopers sometimes. Like I've dropped a little T before. It's funny. But yeah, it's very rare that I got a blooper. I usually we usually just nail it real quick. So
That's what I was gonna ask you, dude. I was curious. Like some of the stuff you do, I'm like, dude, this guy's like playing with a very small margin of error. Like if he
Yeah.
turns the ab wheel and smashes the treadmill that's running, like I was like, dude, have you ever had any crazy like scary experiences like that?
No, no, no. Because like I don't want to kill myself. So like a lot of people are always saying like, "Oh, that's dangerous," but like this is I could do this pretty comfortably. I wouldn't. I'm not saying like the average person probably not, but like I do it all the
No way.
time. So like it's not like scary. Like I do things that I know that I can get done. So I've never had any. Nah, I've never like gotten injured or anything like that.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you haven't gotten injured, but the fact that your mindset is just like it's not even scary to you, that to me is pretty fascinating.
well, it's just like my body's like conditioned. I like my body is it's like playing football, right? If someone that never played before went out there and tried to, go run through the B gap, I mean that's scary. So it just depends. Like it just depends on the person and like how trained you are, right? It's like
Yeah,
boxing. Boxing is scary, but boxers go out there and they box each other, right? Because they're
fair.
trained professionals at what they do. So
So the moral of the story we're trying to get at is if you want to not be scared, you just got to go do it and start small and build up and just
yeah,
keep
yeah, yeah. Start
progressing
small. Like you don't just got to jump into the
it.
craziness. But yeah, start small, and then eventually you'll have strength to do things and try things.
So as long as that's basically what you're telling me is like if I stick with it, one day I'll be able to do and I will roll out across a broomstick.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no,
It
I
takes a lot of core strength though.
totally, totally. You've been working on it. That's awesome, man. Yeah, dude, this has been a really cool interview, a really fun episode. Like just picking your brain, learning, about your process and your background. I think super interesting. Is there any like really cool thing that you've learned along your journey? I always like to ask some version of this question to the guests because I love hearing different people's perspectives. But like where you started, obviously you were a football player, you got into training, you were helping people, and then you started creating content and like building your brand. Like along that journey, you've had a lot of success. Is there any big thing that you can take away from that and just share with the audience of something you learned that's like, man, this has really helped me get to the point I'm at? Obviously, you're still going, you're still growing, but like is there any cool lesson or thing you've picked up on that's like been a big catalyst for that success?
Man, and I say this all the time, but consistency, that's key with anything, man, and just not getting complacent. As long as you wake up every day and you have something to work for and something that you have fun doing and that you really love, I think that makes it easier. But just staying consistent, that's the key to everything in life. Um, so that's what's helped me continue to, you know, produce content and come up with new ideas and fresh ideas is just being consistent and really putting time in to do it every single day.
I love that. And if someone's like trying to striving to be consistent, but like they're just lacking motivation or they're down on themselves, like do you have any advice for getting through those hurdles that a lot of people face?
I would just say, man, everyone has problems, like not just us, like everyone in the world is dealing with something, so you can't feel sorry for yourself, you just got to figure it out. Um, and yeah, just figuring it out and just not letting it, hold you back. Just realizing that yeah, you have a problem, but like everyone has problems, and it can't be an excuse.
So good, bro. So good. I love it, man. You're a beast. I love your content, bro. I love everything you're working on. You're helping, you're inspiring, you're just putting positive energy into the world. And that's what I truly believe it's all about. It's like find what you love, find your passion, and then go just do it. And then just go like put that energy out. And I think it really does come back. And so again, bro, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. This has been a super fun episode and I love it, man. I will be trying those rollouts on the broomstick
All
soon.
right, thank you, bro. Thank you for having me, man. I had a good time.
Let's go.